very different worldviews. I certainly wouldn't call the Final Fantasy series like radically leftist, except maybe in the case of Final Fantasy VII. But like in terms of like in terms of like if you're painting in a very broad like left-right stroke, then there's definitely that going on.
To be fair, Final Fantasy VII was kind of a lot of things.
Final Fantasy VII is, and I've said this before, but it's basically about capitalism.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, if you think about it, like...
Like all the Shinra shit, like straight up, there's like, yeah.
Yeah, there's, no, I mean, it's like, it's not metaphorical, it's a corporation controls the world, you know?
I mean, they're basically Exxon Valdez, let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're an energy corporation and they have like a chokehold on the government and shit like that. And the thing about it is that, like the Sephiroth story is obviously like really compelling because Sephiroth's like a great fucking villain. Shit, what was I saying? Yeah, Sephiroth's like a great fucking villain, but the thing about it is like he does all the planet hopping and shit, and you know the idea is that like you chase him around the planet, but as a result you get to see all of these different places, and you get to observe like the world that Shinra has built as a result of their global control. You see like towns that have like we see like towns that are like affected by like, you know, for example, like explosions and like Mako infections and stuff like that, and then we see
there's all the stuff about like how the earth is dying.
Yeah, exactly. And then we see towns like Costa del Sol or Junon where like a bunch of like the rich people live, and like you can see how they exploit and, you know, benefit from this system, you know.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's just Final Fantasy VII is, it's not my favorite video game, but I've like insistently said like ever since I like played it again that I'm pretty sure it's the best game. You know, like in terms of like how much the story is about, it's the best. Hold on a second.
Yeah, for me, I have a really hard time finishing Final Fantasy games. I don't know what it is, but there's always some point in the game in which I'm playing it, I'll forget where I'm going, and then like I'll try and like revisit it, and then I'll have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, so I just start over every single time. Like I've played Final Fantasy VIII like a million times, and I have not beaten that game yet because I just keep getting stuck. And it's always a completely different thing too. I never get stuck at the same point. It's always something different.
True story. For a long ass time, like I was playing these games a lot as kids, and the thing about it was that like back in the day, like I just had like a lot of time, so I just shut up. I saw that. I see you in the stream. You know, but basically, I just had the strategy guides, and I would literally use a bookmark, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't use bookmarks for Harry Potter, I used fucking bookmarks for Final Fantasy strategy guides.
Fuck reading.
Fuck reading, man.
I say even though I've been doing, like, aggressive reading for the last 4 months.
Alright, what the fuck is all out here? There's, like, some mountains and shit. Let's get some fucking, like, hard-ass enemies. Nah, it's still fucking red slimes. I can kill these dudes in one hit. This is, like, not efficient grinding. I need to do power leveling right now. Help me out, game.
The problem is that if you go slightly to the left a little bit more, you're gonna start running into giant monsters.
Exactly. Exactly. That was actually what made Final Fantasy II like the most horrible game. Like I've said it before, but well, a lot of the problems that it has got fixed in like the various remakes that have come out. But like Final Fantasy II for the NES is one of the worst games ever made. Like,
I've never played it. Like honestly, like most old RPGs, I just have not played.
Oh, I
it's
actually
like a lot of time. It's like, you know, I don't know like where to get this game, but like I think the first like RPG I ever beat was just Super Mario RPG, but that game is fucking fantastic. That is like my favorite RPG hands down right now.
Oh, hold up. No, I actually do have maximum MP because my max MP went up to 7 when I leveled. And the thing is I just don't have access to any of it because I haven't rested at an inn.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier.
Oh, I fucked up. Like, my bad. I wasn't understanding what you said. Wow.
No, you are not forgiven.
Okay, thank God. It only costs 3 gold to sleep at an inn.
Yeah, that's
fucking suck.
Wish that's all it costed over here.
The best Final Fantasy is 8. Get at me, stream.
Oh no, controversy. Controversy
no,
in this untitled broadcast for Dragon Quest.
Oh shit! I had to edit that. This is the second time I have ever streamed.
Don't worry, it's a test stream. This is all good.
Actually, I have a really funny. The first time I streamed, it was okay. Hold on, Dragon Quest. No, all right, fine. I'll go with Dragon Warrior. It's not the actual fucking name, but whatever. The first time I streamed,
you have to respect it.
I was playing. I was playing Super Nintendo with a friend. Or, I was playing Super Metroid with a friend of mine, and he was like playing on the other end, but like he had his shit muted and we weren't broadcasting it. We were basically racing each other. And the idea was that I was collecting footage for something else as well, but it didn't end up panning out because, one, I had the archiver turned off, which for whatever reason isn't automatically turned on, thanks Twitch.
That's weird because mine was. But I made my Twitch a while ago.
Yeah, exactly. They like in the last update to the site or whatever, they turned off auto archiver.
That doesn't shock me. I mean, I guess it makes sense because I'm sure that like a million people auto archiving their streams clogs up like the web space and whatnot.
Yeah,
but I feel like that's a thing where like it should be, hey, do you want stream archiving turned on or off while you're registering? But hey, I don't know though. I'm not an engineer. I'm just a dude.
Yeah, but you know computers a lot better than I do, so when you talk about them, I just kind of assume you know what you're talking about. I mean, you can like code and shit, and you've like made video games, so.
See, I actually have a rocket engine strapped to the side of my desktop right now.
Buy Joy Lancer!
Buy it! It's fucking good! Give me money!
Just
Jesus Christ!
Just the way you said "buy it, it's good" was so funny.
I need to make one of those like fake infomercials like Tim Rogers did for fucking
that shit
for Ziggurat, but I'm just gonna be like just staring at the camera like buy Joy Lancer, buy it now.
No, he did that. He also did that for Dive Kick. That one was fun.
Yeah, I saw that one too. I love like ridiculous
honest to God,
infomercial shit like that.
Like 100% of the time, I can't stand Tim Rogers, but that shit was funny.
Yeah, I could see that.
You can do it. Typhon's latest game is fucking
I've been in the same place as Tim Rogers twice, and I've still been like not like it's like I want to say hi, but I don't want to look like that guy who's like, oh my god, it's Tim Rogers. I just want to be like, hey, what's up?
Rogers isn't like that's the thing about games criticism is that it's just like I remember the first time like I got in contact with James Clinton Howell, the guy who wrote the essays about Metal Gear that like basically made me a game critic. And I was just like, I sent him a tweet. I said, hey, I kind of wrote something kind of based off of your work, and like maybe kind of read it if you got the time, kind of like scratch his head, sweat, and and he's just like, oh, this is really cool, thanks. And he followed me on Twitter instantly. And I'm like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's the thing about games criticism is that no one is actually anyone. Like none of us are Roger Ebert.
Like,
what?
I feel like that's a thing that kind of like needs to circulate through like the indie community in general a lot, because like obviously we have like our top dogs and whatever, but I mean like there's also a lot of preconceived notions that like certain people are like on a higher tier than others, and a lot of it is usually like oh, they have more Twitter followers than I do, or oh, they have like they have like a place on an article this one time, so like they're totally out of my league. And it's just like, no, for the most part we're all doing the same shit. Like we're all trying to make a living and probably not succeeding, but some of us are, and that's great.
I got super like intimidated by it as well because like
it's really easy to like it's so easy to just like think about it being like the scariest thing in the world, and like eventually just kind of stops becoming that. But I might be talking out my ass because I have like 1,400 followers now, but
yeah, I mean that's but the thing about it to me was like and this isn't to knock on anyone, although I am going to mention Zolani by name. When it comes to, I would consider myself, broadly an opponent of capitalism, et cetera, but I am totally unfamiliar with most, with most of the writing of the people for whom, the thought is really important. Like for example, like Zolani will, tweet about books he's reading, and, they'll be using combinations of terms that I've absolutely never seen in print before. And it's, I'm sure they're saying something that I'm agreeing with, but I have no idea what it means. And this applies to basically everyone. I mean, when Keogh writes certain stuff, when Zolani writes certain stuff, I can't read any of anything that Ian Bogost has ever written.
I've tried. I really have tried, but it just goes completely over my head.
Yeah, and it's just like you get intimidated by it because literally I just decided to sit down one day and write an essay about Metal Gear, and it's just it's kind of like, oh well, it's doing basically the same thing that this guy said it was doing, that Metal Gear Solid 2 was doing. Like that was the idea, and like everything I've done since then has been basically the same thing. It's basically me just using terms and stuff that I've seen other critics use. Like for example, my latest thing was about Final Fantasy IX. And it's mostly inspired by stuff that like Film Crit Hulk has done, like analyzing narrative and movements and like how it uses images and like recurring images and themes and shit like that. But I mean, in terms of like the level of terminology being used, it's way lower,
Yeah.
It's just, or at least to me, it feels less dense, And that's again,
I just think it's because like I think that's actually something that I find interesting in games writing because like it's so obvious like how many games critics and games writers come from like completely different backgrounds. Like some people like there are people like Bogost and like Zolani who are like really big into like
academic stuff.
Yeah, like academics. Like the embarrassing part is that I literally couldn't think of the word academics. I was like, what is that word? Fuck. But we have people like them who are like obviously come from like academic backgrounds. And then you have like all like it's one of those things where it's like I guess you identify with certain writers because there's so many different experiences and you can usually tell that those experiences are reflected in the way that they write.
Nice.
Yeah, that was real shit. What's good? Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest.
I don't even know what's fucking happening in this game anymore.
I'm just grinding. I'm literally just grinding.
Oh, still?
Yeah, this is why I'm talking to you. Like, like you think I'm gonna do this shit on my own? Nah, fuck you.
Jesus,
I'm gonna bring you into my misery.
How bad was the NES version if it's this ridiculous?
That's what to say. Yeah, like how worse does the NES version have to be? And like that they're like the enemies probably do like 5 times as much damage in that version too.
Oh god.
Okay, cool.
Like how much staying in this single like spot would there be in the NES version to just go to the next level?
Dorakue. I see that. The Japanese like Dragon Quest is such a huge thing in just in Japanese culture, period, that there's literally like one of those single word things for it, which is Dorakue.
Oh, like Kusoge for games that are bad?
Kinda, yeah. I only say that I don't know whether it's like that because I've never heard that word before.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh wait, I can sell the
abbreviation. Can I say how much I fucking love reading about bad games?
Bad games?
Yeah, like really, really bad games. Like that is like absolutely addicting for me.
Yeah, it's if you want to read something fun, read either the TV Tropes article or the Hardcore Gaming 101 article about Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, like I've got the Hardcore Gaming 101 article open right now. I spent some time like reading some of these like Kusoge games just because like I wanted to get ideas for stuff. And a lot of the fun for me is taking like the concept of like, hey, this game is bad, but it's also so good that it's bad, and then just turning it into a good game, like just flat out good, like fixing the things that are like wrong with it.
Well, the interesting thing about that for Final Fantasy II is that the guy who directed it went on to make the Saga series, and a lot of those games are really well loved, especially in Japan. And they'll work on a lot of the same concepts, like, using the same kinds of weapons will, like, level up your skill with that weapon. And you can, like, level up by, like, taking damage and shit like that. Like, the Saga games are fucking weird in terms of the gameplay. But
I love stuff like that. Like, one of the reasons I got, like, big into Quest 64, which I will still defend to the death as a game that could have been a lot better if it had more development time, because you can tell that they had a lot more to put in that game, and they just could not.
I think that
like I was actually reading about like development on that. And, like they were originally going to have like 3 different characters who all have different play styles and stuff like that as well. But like most of like the way that it just handles, like if you use a lot of magic, you gain more magic. If you take damage, you get more HP. And like most of like the big like magic upgrades and stuff is stuff that you have to adventure and find rather than earn through grinding and experience, which is which is like an amazing idea to me, that like you can like that's just like RPG like framework, but like you can put so much exploration of that and do like so much with that concept. And I feel like they were getting to that point, but at some point they either like it was just like rushed, or they ran out of money, or I don't know exactly what happened, but like It's one of those things where it's like I feel like if they revisited that concept today, they could do something really good with it, like some kind of like remake, like they do with shit tons of old games